Hey guys, it's me, Rae, with Random Thoughts with Rae, and with my Tuesday co-host, AJ from Y101.
AJ!
Woo!
I'm excited. I'm
That's
excited.
about it. That's all I
I'm
got.
excited.
I was really lazy today, and so I almost was gonna be like, hey, can we do it tomorrow? But I was like, no, I knew this would get me going.
You know what's really weird is today's National Coffee Day too.
I saw that.
Yeah. How weird that it was a lazy day, and I kind of felt that too, and yet it's National Coffee Day. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Well, remember those people that we talked about that did the coffee enemas?
Oh yeah.
I bet you they're tripling their amount today.
Oh man, nice.
Yeah, well, I did have about a half a cup of coffee, but I was like, hey, look at that, National Coffee Day, woo. But I'm more about my Herbalife tea right now, so.
What does that taste like? What's that?
I think it's delicious, but like my mom, she thinks it's disgusting.
So. Oh, does it smell?
Yeah, it's very herbally, and then plus they have this thing called a lift off that I put in it, and it's supposed to give you like that extra energy.
Nice. That's what I would like. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I don't like tea. Like I feel like it doesn't hit me as hard with like a caffeine jolt. Yeah.
The tea alone with Herbalife is like what's it called? It's a natural fat burner. So we jokingly call it like liquid crack, because if you drink it and you start eating, you're gonna be like,
that's what I need.
I'll have to hook you up with some.
Yeah.
So my weekend was a little off. My parents officially yesterday morning at 4:10 a.m. left the state, or headed out of the state of California. They moved. Right now, I think they're somewhere in Oklahoma. The last time I checked, they were about 6 hours from their new destination, which is Clinton, Arkansas. We have family there. I thought it was going to take a major toll on me because I am very close with my mother, and plus I'm the baby, and so I thought it was going to be harder than what it was, and it really wasn't that bad. I know her birthday is in a couple weeks. That's going to be a little harder, but they're coming out at Christmas. I'm going to send my daughter back with them because she wants to go. So it's
crap, man! I feel sad for you.
I know it was really hard.
Like Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas and Christmas shopping and telling. I'm going to make you cry.
I know.
I'm trying to make you cry.
Because my mom was telling everyone, make sure you embrace her. Make sure you embrace her. So a family friend of ours, he called me up early. Hey, Jessica, it's Roger. Just, I wanted to call in and check on you to see if you're crying and how you're doing. And I'm like, honestly, I'm doing good. But we've been going and doing, hey, let's do a one last dinner. Oh, let's do a one last dinner. Listen, I am so burnt out of fast food or even restaurants. I'm just restaurants. Like, we went to the coast this weekend. It was my daughter's birthday. My sister and her family went. My parents were up there. My aunt and uncle were up there. So it was a big fun thing. But then we ended up having like car problems. My boyfriend had like this big old Ford F-350, like a Super Duty or whatever truck. Yes. It's a big beast. Flying all the way up there, but the next morning we couldn't get it to start. Then the battery's dead. We fixed the battery. Then the other battery is like spewing out there. And
holy crap! How many batteries has it got?
2.
It's a big enough truck.
Such a big truck.
Yeah, damn.
It needs 2 of them, and each battery is like $260. And it's
man.
So what we had to do was on the way home, we jumped it, then disconnected the battery, because you could drive without a battery once it started, but we just disconnected the spewing one. So it was a stressful trip because it didn't go very well the way we wanted it to go because of the car problems. Went shopping at the Vans store, bought like a bunch of Vans shirts.
Oh, I love Vans. Hell yeah.
Let me tell you, totally going off topic, but I bought 2 pairs of Vans for myself. See these bags?
They always have really good deals.
Yeah.
That's tight. I love it.
And you color it yourself if you want to. So I'm going to color some. And then I got myself some socks, but I also got this one.
Oh, love it.
Right?
That's cool.
Sucks, I'm between sizes. Like the 7s are a smidge too big, but the 6.5 smidge too small. And you like that 6 3/4 is what I need.
That's the way I am with every other shoe brand except for Vans. Vans is like, it fits me. And so I've stuck with it. Yeah, I love it.
My,
And they last forever.
They do. And it's like I wanted a white pair, and I'm like, I don't want them to get dirty. But then again, you sit there and you think Vans they're
meant to
be dirty.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's almost like, my shoes getting dirty.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
And my daughter just got the Simpsons Vans. Have you seen those?
No.
Oh
man,
my God,
I want some.
Oh my God, they're the Sims. She got hers was full of itchy and scratchy, and they have one that's
no way, how cool!
It has Marge and her two sisters on the side, and their hair's fuzzy, so you can like feel it.
Oh no way!
See, my son has such a fat foot that he needs like the lace up because he got or the Velcro. He can't get into the slip on.
Yeah. Oh man, that's tight. Yeah. I haven't worn shoes. Fact, I have not worn shoes since March. So the bottom, it's all been flip-flops, and I'm just walking around the house. So my feet are calloused. And, but yeah, I haven't worn socks, pants. Another thing, I've been doing nothing but shorts.
That's nice. That's real nice.
But I do miss the shoes.
I still don't understand when I leave my boyfriend's house after being there for a few days. I'll like throw his laundry in the washer and then I'll throw it in the dryer. I don't fold it for him. I mean, sometimes I'll do it with him, but I don't like folding and I don't like hanging up. And so he knows it. So he's really good about, I'll get it. But I have no problems folding socks and underwear. Is that weird? Like socks and underwear are fine. Actually,
those are two of the hardest things to fold.
I don't even mind hanging up and folding the clothes. It's just the act of putting it away that I don't like.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
No, yeah. Underwear is the hardest thing to fold. There's no way of making that neat. And socks, I find like if you do it inside out, then the elastic comes loose real quick.
Well, so I fold it together and I take the ends. Okay. I wish I had some socks. Oh, well, no, these are ankle socks. So I don't know. I just randomly throw up some socks.
Oh yeah, how would you do? Yeah. Like how would you even put that away?
Okay, so with these ones, obviously, hold on, let me get them inside out. Obviously, with these ankle ones, I would just go like that. Okay.
Oh yeah, okay.
Or I take them, okay, I fold them in half, so you got like the front, then you got the back, and then what I'll do is I'll take the front part and I'll put them in, but I'll push it down so none of the elastic is stretched.
Oh, genius. Yeah. There it is.
But, and you could do that with the long socks. You just have to take it and fold it all the way down and then push it all the way through.
Okay.
And lay it out. Okay, not that like people really care about how to do socks.
So, nah, dude. We are sitting in the house all day, every day, and we are bored. This is mind-boggling. I was this years old. What's that? What's the saying? I was this years old when I found out how to fold socks.
Yeah. It was like some of them. I'm like, oh crap. Okay. I'm gonna open up my Diet Pepsi that I have literally dropped 20 million times.
Let's see how it explodes.
No, I did the magic tap tap tap.
Oh, there you go.
Simmer, simmer, simmer. Tap tap tap. And like, if you were to see my setup right now, oh my gosh, I'm gonna take a picture. I'm gonna take a picture of this. This is funny. Oopsie. Because I'm like, I mean, not that the people who are listening would totally.
No, I'm sure they're curious. What's going on behind the recording device?
There we go. Oh, my messy room. We're not going to do that picture. Oh, wait, hold on. Here we go. There you go. I have like my tablet like on a box.
And, there you go.
On Van's box. Yeah. I don't know if you could see it. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like
you know what? Box, that works. A lot of the news anchors, have you noticed that when they're doing their broadcast from home, and if you see them on Facebook or whatever, that's how they have their whole setup. That's incredible. And it looks like spot on. It looks really good. Michael
Ifahilihiko from Fox 26, who I absolutely love. I doubt you see him because you're working in the morning the same time he is. But he'll put like on his Instagram like the total like his total like outlook of what he's doing, and you see everything. But they just redid the set for Fox 26 and I absolutely love it. but it's still too bright on their faces. So
Oh,
it's
really?
like, I feel
Oh,
like
man.
they need to dim the lights a little bit.
I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it.
Yeah.
I was there. I was there during oh, dude, I think today's the day. Today's the Masked Singer kickoff.
Oh.
The last time I was there, I was talking about Masked Singer, and they were in their little temporary studio.
Yes. Yes. That's right. I totally remember that now.
I can't wait to see.
What did you do this weekend? Anything interesting?
Fuck, this weekend was terrible. It started out, Saturdays have been my day to just chill. And then nice. Sunday, it's kind of like getting ready for the next week. Well, Sunday started out everything business as usual until Sunday. Sunday, we get invited to my sister-in-law's, they were throwing a birthday party for their kids. So we go over, it's a pool party, and we hadn't gone over to a party. We hadn't gone over to go swimming at all during this whole COVID-19 thing.
Yeah.
So we were really excited to go to this party. And Evan, my youngest, who's going to be turning 11, we even bought him some new swim shorts because it's been forever since we've gone swimming. And Victoria and I were going to sit out while the kids, had a good time. Well, Evan goes in there, jumps in the pool. He's having fun playing with his cousins. And then I notice he's really red. He is like really, really red. And keep in mind that we've been in the shade. We're not like in the sun.
Yeah.
It's a really nice, cool day. And so I tell Victoria, do you notice that he's red? Yeah. So we call him over. Evan, get over here. So Evan comes over and we see that his face, his arms, his back, they're blotchy. And he's having some sort of allergic reaction to whatever is in the swimming pool. Well, no sooner than we pulled him out of the pool, he goes, I don't feel really good. I'm going to faint. I'm going to faint. I'm going to faint. He fainted. None of my kids have ever fainted. So I've got his head and Victoria's got his legs and everybody's kind of like, what's going on? We put him on the couch and he comes to, he's like, what happened? I'm like, dude, he fainted. This is really bad. So we took him to the hospital. Turned out he has an allergic reaction. They didn't do anything in the hospital, but just check his vitals. And so that was just scary. Just the whole thing of not knowing.
And they didn't say from what problem?
No. They told us that we needed to take him into the hospital because they needed to tell us why he fainted. So that sounded logical. And they only allowed one parent in at a time. So I had to sit in the car and it was hot. And I was, worried what the hell's going on inside.
And then you feel like a shitty parent if you go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, I'm in the way back seat and it was bad, but thank God Benadryl worked. We had given him Benadryl before we even went to the hospital. Thank God, because that would have been expensive.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy is when you were talking about that on Mother's Day weekend, back in May, we were like around my family and just my sister's family, us and my parents. And, my sister makes me a drink, and it was like a Mexican drink that she made with Mexican little stuff all over. It was delicious. Everything in it stuff I've had before. And I'm the type that, I think I disappeared. You there, AJ?
I see you. Yeah.
I don't see you though.
Oh no.
There you are.
I'm making ugly faces.
You know what? I put do not disturb on, but yet I'm still getting phone calls. Like, really? Anyways, so I'm drinking the drink, and I'm the type of person that I get flushed. If I'm angry, if I'm excited, if I'm in the sun too much, I'll get red blotches, but not like hive red blotches. It'll freak people out. So I'm having this drink, and I'm drinking, and my mom's like, Jessica, you're getting red. And I'm like, oh, I know, I could feel I'm feeling a little warm. You know how I get.
The alcohol's kicking in. Yeah.
And I'm drinking it. It's not very much, but I've already had a few drinks. And my mom's like, no, Jessica, you're really red. Give me your drink. Stop drinking. I'm like, no. She's like, come look in the mirror. And I'm like, okay, fine. Because I'm feeling fine. So she goes to grab my drink from me, and I grab it and I down it. Because I'm thinking I'm just the normal blotchy. I walk into the bathroom. No, AJ, my face was swollen. I have an allergic reaction all in my neck. all down my arm.
Isn't it crazy how you can't feel it? Not until you see it? Yeah.
Well, the alcohol was like, ooh, my boyfriend's like, we gotta take you to the hospital. And I'm like, no, we're fine. It's probably the drink. No, we gotta go. And then I'm like, I'm feeling tighter. So I get a washcloth, and we're gonna go to like CVS to get Benadryl.
Antihistamine. Yeah.
So I keep the kids there, and me and him go, and I'm like, I have a towel on my face to kind of help me. We get there, and it's literally my parents' house. Across the street is the drugstore.
Oh,
I
good.
don't get in the car because I don't want someone thinking I have some weird COVID thing, like, a rash, or something new. So I'm sitting there, and I end up Snapchatting one of our friends, a family, like, coupled friend of ours, and I'm, like, showing them. I totally don't take any pictures of myself or any videos of myself. Like, how stupid is that? But I'm taking a pen, and I'm outlining. My boyfriend's like, what are you doing? I go, I got to see if it's going to spread, because that's what
that's true. That's smart.
He thought I was retarded, but I'm like,
no, that's really smart.
That's what you do. That they're going to say, how much has it grown? Okay, look, this is what it's grown.
Uh-huh.
So he comes back, and by the time he comes back with the Benadryl, and of course I'm thinking, oh my God, he's a guy. He's not going to get the right stuff, or he's going to buy 5 different types of Benadryl. I should have went in, whatever. But at this point, my face felt so tight, it was starting to hurt.
Oh,
and I was starting to feel tired, like just worn out, tired. So by the time he comes out, I drink the Benadryl, I take the pills and the Benadryl. It freaking worked. It worked. And then later on, I was out in the sun, and I started getting those blotchy again. So I think it was the sun that was giving me that crazy.
That's weird.
But my sister made me the drink again, and it didn't happen. So
you still drank the same drink?
Well, no, we just did it not too long ago, like 2 or 3 weekends ago. Did you see on my Facebook? We did that teppanyaki.
Hell yeah, that looked awesome.
That was cool. My sister made it for me then, and I was fine. But
wow.
I saw them on Facebook.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, those pictures look really awesome.
Yeah, not that I'm trying to take over everything and talk like crazy, but for some of the people that obviously don't know what we're talking about, there is a couple that has done teriyaki.
Teppanyaki. Yeah. Where they cook in front of you.
He's been doing it for years. And so with the whole COVID thing, almost spilled water. With the whole COVID thing, they now come out to your house. They're totally like masked up and clean, but they bring the dishes, they bring the food, they do the tables, the chairs, the tablecloths. The only thing you have to provide is your own drinks. And that's not bad. And we didn't, my sister did some drinks, like alcoholic drinks. We did virgin drinks for like the kids and the adults that didn't drink. We had, of course, soda, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So they came out, and because they're from Kerman, we got charged like a $55 mileage fee, which isn't bad. We had to put $150 down deposit. You have to have at least 10 people. Adult meals start off at 40 on up, and kids start off at 20 on up. And you sit there and you think like, ooh, $60 for chicken and steak, that's expensive. But if you go to a teppanyaki place at night, that's expensive.
Yeah,
this person is coming to your house. They're bringing everything. They're catering everything to you. And you got more food there than you did like at like Japanese kitchen.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It looked awesome.
Really, yeah, and I want to say they made like a good $600-700. Like, and there was like 10 adults and 2 kids. So it was a lot of money, but it was well worth it.
I want to do that. That would be so awesome.
You should.
That would be so awesome. But yeah, it would be our luck that, Evan would be the one to get allergic reaction. We got to cut out. Let's go.
Yeah, that's the sucky part.
There's a crazy reaction that you'll get too. Speaking of alcoholic drinks and sitting out in the sun, if you use a lime, if you touch the outside of the lime, it's got some sort of chemical that if put on your skin, the sun burns your skin, like it will actually burn a hole in your skin.
Well, you try it and let me know.
Hell no, I'm good. I don't even like the sun in general.
Speaking of alcohol, a lot of people do the stupidest thing with alcohol.
What? What could
They
you possibly do?
call their exes.
Oh no, that's a good idea to call. And oops,
I've never drunk called an ex.
you
Boyfriend.
lie.
No,
No
an
way.
ex-boyfriend. Not drunk. Not drunk.
Ever?
No, yeah.
What? You probably
Now,
have.
don't
Just
get
didn't
me
know.
wrong. I have called. I mean, I have texted, but they weren't like boyfriends.
Ex?
Like somebody that I might have used to mess around with.
Yeah.
With,
You've
like,
never?
exclusively.
I'm finding this
Now,
really hard to believe.
Yeah. Well,
I've been a listener since episode 1. There's no way since then you've never called anybody by accident or.
No, I'm saying boyfriends. I've never called boyfriends. I've
Ex.
called people that I've used to canoodle with.
Yeah.
Her name, canoodle.
Yeah, drunkenly.
I've done that, but not like an actual titled boyfriend, because I think a lot of people misconstrued, me in the beginning of the podcast, thinking that I was sleeping with 20 million different people. And but majority of the time when I was sleeping with somebody, it would be like the same person over and over and over. And then when it would overlap, it'd be like, okay, this person is just not working out. And so I start talking to somebody and I overlap them. And then as that person fades out, I might talk to another 1 or 2 people, and then it would be real quick. So it wasn't like I'm sitting there screwing 2, 3, 4, 5 people. But
let's say you have a few drinks and then you're like, oh, you know what? Let's just see what they're doing, what they're up to.
Not an ex-boyfriend.
What? Wow, that's pretty good.
Now, have I hooked up with an ex-boyfriend? Yes, I have. But it was never because of a drunk text or call.
Wow. What about dream about? Have you ever dreamt about the ex?
Oh, of course. Of course. It's been a while, I will say that. But I have a stupid ex, so it's not, well, I mean, of course, I've had a few ex-boyfriends in my life. I've had dreams where they're in it, but it was never like, ooh, sexual or flirtatious. And I'm just like...
and you're waking up and thinking, oh, man, I wish I was with that ex again.
No.
An
ex is an ex for a reason.
Yeah.
And I've always...
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I will say there was one ex that was probably the hardest for me. And it was none of my baby daddies. That sounded like I had a lot. I have 2 baby dads, okay? Not more than that. And I only got 2 kids. But I've only had one ex that was hard for me to ever get over. And when me and him we had to end it. And then when we tried back again, he was in a relationship with somebody else. And, I was single, but I was still like, hooking up with him, because the way I looked at it was he was mine first.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for me breaking up with him, but then I did beg for him to get, it was a weird situation. And because I don't know who would actually listen to this podcast, there is one person that would be like devastated and heartbroken if they found out about this. And it's not because they're jealous. It would just be more of a, ooh, that was my friend. It's a situation where it's too close from home, but there was somebody that I had ended up becoming friends with, and we became such really good friends, like best friends. He'd be going on dates with chicks and be like texting me about it, and I'd be going on dates with guys, texting him, and then it kind of became sexual, and so we were sleeping with each other, but I'd be seeing somebody else, but not in a committed relationship to where I could see the people. I would be seeing somebody else, and they would be seeing somebody else, and we'd be texting while we're with these other people because we're friends. Or I'd be like, hey, what are you doing tonight? He's like, oh, I'm on a date. I was like, okay, have fun. And then I said, am I going to see you tonight? Or are you planning on hooking up? And I know that sounds weird, but we had established that friend thing, and we never wanted anything, nor could we, because of how we... it's so hard. I wish I could just say it.
No, yeah.
How close and not dangerous, but the situation was. We just didn't want to hurt an individual. And which I'll tell you who it was, like, when we're off of air. And so when me and him just started kind of dating, it was more of a, I remember one time he was out with some chick and some friends, and I'm texting him, and he's like, no, I'm probably gonna go home with her. I was like, okay, cool. 20 minutes later, he's like, hey, things ended. Can I come hang out with you? And I was like, yeah. And of course, we hook up and everything like that. And we're sitting there, and I remember vividly, like, laying in bed, of course, covered, after we'd had sex. And I said, so what happened? He's like, well, I just realized I'd rather just hang out with you. And we both liked each other, but we didn't want to tell each other.
Right.
And then it got to the point where, like, he had told me he loved me in the middle of the night, and I was just like, oh shit. I acted like I was asleep, and I didn't say nothing back. Yeah. And then we started talking about it, and then, you know, and then we both, I mean, you know, yeah, we both were in love with each other, but we just couldn't make that relationship work. So, super short story, even longer. I ended up telling him, look, I want more from you. And he's like, I just can't do it. So I used my son's dad to get over him and kind of hurt him. And then it backfired on me because when I got in that crappy relationship.
Yeah.
But we tried making it work, and we ended up getting into it. And I just told him, you walk out that door, that's it. It's never again. It will never happen again. And he walked out the door, and I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, man.
A couple years later, sometime in 2015, because I know it was like kind of after my son's and dad and me had split, we were talking again, and we just kind of started not having a relationship, but having that casual relationship again. We both missed each other, but he had a girlfriend, and I one time I told him, I said, if she finds out about us and breaks up with you, don't come to me. Don't come to me, because I'm not going to do it. I said, and he's like, well, that's stupid, da, 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 da. And I was like, and then later on he apologized, because I realized what you're saying. You don't want me because I got broken up with. He goes, you want me for me? I said, yeah. So he ended up moving probably about an hour and a half away from me.
Oh, and not that far.
He moved in with her. And we had later talked, and he had said, you know, I wanted you to tell me not to move, and I wanted you to tell me you wanted me. I said, you already knew that. So you should have said, hey, look, I want you, not her. I said, you're the man. You should have said that. I wasn't going to ask you to leave anyone.
That's a Grey's Anatomy episode, man. Come on. Oh, dude, man.
Like, that's straight, like, that. I will tell you more, like, in details about it, because you're going to be like, oh my God, like, that's a love story. You know what I mean? But
no, yeah, that's what all these Grey's Anatomy stories are all about. All of these relationship stories where you want it to work and you're so rooting for it to happen, but there's so much complicated backstory that it can't happen.
Yeah.
So I can understand how that would do something to you psychologically, where that would really probably be reoccurring in your head when you're asleep.
Yeah. You know, and for a while, every once in a while, he would, like, send me a message and send a picture, because he has a daughter now, and send a picture. But I haven't talked to him in a long time, or, you know, and actually, when I first started talking to my boyfriend, we weren't together, but I told him, oh, I'm seeing somebody now, and this, and that. And he's like, oh, I'm so happy. Congratulations, this, and that. I you know, you deserve the best. And, you know, and I appreciate that. And you know, and I know he really means it. You know, he really means it. But, you know, obviously you sit there and you're like, oh my God, this is the one for me. And this is a true love story. And it's like Romeo and Juliet, not really like Romeo and Juliet, but, you know, and then it doesn't work out, but there's reasons why it doesn't work out, because it just wasn't meant to be, you know, it wasn't the person to be with. And I mean, honestly, it was also a fun party time in my life. Like, I was smoking weed nonstop. I was a very functional weed smoker. I needed it to just clean my house. I'd wake up at 2 a.m. just to smoke weed and go back to sleep. Yeah. Me and him at the time, we were partying, and we were popping pills and smoking weed and drinking. And we have talked about kind of how toxic that was, you know, in our relationship, because we partied and we would do stuff like that. And then, you know, then we would be together intimately, and you know, and we sit there and I think, we've talked about this, not recently, obviously, because I'm in a relationship, but me and him have talked about it before, where it's like, oh shit, like maybe we wouldn't have liked each other, which I think we would have, but we just realized how toxic everything was.
No, yeah. Isn't that weird? It's like a season, like you outgrow the season. Like that was a part of that was a part of what made you the person that you are today, because of what you guys had together. And it wasn't meant to be like a forever type deal, but for that season, you guys, you saw each other through whatever time that was, and now he's a dad, and you're living your life. But had you guys have stuck together, you probably would have been holding each other back from the future happiness that you could have had.
I probably would have been like 250 pounds heavier than what I was, because we like to eat too, you know. And there's been times where, like, a long time ago when we talked, we jokingly say, man, we'd probably be on our third kid and freaking like little Oompa Loompas, you know. and you know, but that's all in the past, and you sit there and you think about it, you're like, thank goodness I wasn't, and thank goodness that never became something, you know. And so for me, like, if I was to have a dream about him, it wouldn't, I wouldn't wake up and be like, oh man, I miss him. Oh, you know, to me, it wouldn't be that. I'd be like, oh my God, like that is a chapter that I have closed in my life. And so for me, I don't want to dream about him. And if I do, I'm not going to be attracted to anything like that. And, you know, I mean, I can have a scary dream of an ex. I can have a shy dream where I'm all shy or whatever, but I sit there and I think, like, my son's dad, if I was to have a dream about him, and let's just say hypothetically it'd be an intimate dream, I'd wake up and be like, oh my God, that is just not gonna happen. And there's some people that will sit there and be like, oh, that's your subconscious. That's your subconscious, is that no, that's not my subconscious. Because if it was my subconscious, I'd be kicking him off a cliff. You know what I mean? So
you'd be doing the things that you can't do in regular life because they're prison time.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I mean, I look at it like that. Or maybe something's getting brought up because maybe that was a good time. Maybe, you know, I don't know. You know, like when you're talking about something and one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, which is probably the same thing like it does with dreams. And so maybe it started off one thing and then somehow ended up with my ex, and maybe it was something that was a good memory, you know. And it's not that I'm missing it, but it was maybe a good happy time. And even though I had the dream of it, it doesn't necessarily mean I want them or I'm crazy them or crazy.
And it makes plenty of sense.
It's your subconscious. It's just your mind. It does a bunch of, you know, crazy thing. Or maybe the person was an asshole, and in the dream, you know, you're just like, crap, I've let go and I've learned, and there's nothing wrong with dreaming of an ex. I even if it was sexual, I still don't think there's nothing wrong with that, even if you like them or don't like them.
No, I've heard that there's music that you associate with memories. So songs that you may have heard, maybe you didn't even like the song, but you might have heard it while you were on vacation at this one place. So if you happen to hear that song later, it'll pop up. That whole memory might pop up. Or even smells have that work too. So let's say you were to smell a cologne that an ex may have worn, that might trigger something to pop up in your head. Not necessarily you're thinking of them because you want them, but just because you were reminded of that person.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know. And even if let's say my boyfriend, there's a memory of him and his wife, because there's been times where he's like on Facebook and he brings up like the memories, and he's just like, oh, it's funny, it looks like I was doing this by myself because my ex wasn't in the picture, but she had tagged me, and you know, and he brings that up. That doesn't bother me. Or there's times where like the weekend where I booked the hotel, he's like, have you ever been at this hotel with anybody? And I was like, no. But if I would have known he's been at the hotel with somebody, like, I don't think it wouldn't bother me. You know,
good for you.
Time, unless it's somebody I absolutely hated. I'd be like, yeah, you know, that hotel room was her.
And good for you. That would bug me. Hell yeah, that would bug me. I don't want to know. Don't ask. I'm under the impression I'm not going to ask. I don't want to know.
Exactly. It's like, don't ask, but he will ask.
Oh,
and, you know,
shoot.
And I'm like, I'm not going to ask at all.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, I don't even
Yeah,
know where we're going with that one.
I don't want to, anything that makes me feel less than, I don't want to go there. I'm glad and I'm happy knowing that I am with my wife, and that's it. I don't need to know what happened before. I don't need to know.
Lucky, yes.
Yeah, happy times before. I just need to know right now at this very moment. I'm happy. You're happy.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Exactly. You know, and then I tell him, or even we go to a restaurant. Did you go on any dates here? I was like, look, homeboy, we go to Starbucks all over town. I went to tons of Starbucks.
Every.
Does that mean we can't go to Starbucks? Because I know we're going to Starbucks, but, you know.
That's a good point. That is so good. You know how many meatheads there are around town? We've been to pizza places all over.
And I told him, I was like, honestly, the most of the time I was only going out with people to get a free Starbucks. I mean, look how much me and him go to Starbucks so much. I'm like, can you imagine? I can't afford my Starbucks habit. Sometimes I have to like create a dating site just because I'm like, God, I'm broke. I need some coffee. You know, I mean.
That's funny.
Bring the McDonald's if you want to bring McDonald's to the
no McCafe. I want a Starbucks.
I like the cheapest shit from McDonald's. I'm like, can I get a McDouble, but like the $1.69 one? Or because those are my favorite actually, anyways, from McDonald's. But yeah.
Yeah.
Every so
That's
often,
funny.
I'd be like, let's get pizza, or because I'm broke But this is my only thing. When I was dating, I always made sure I had money to cover me. My Starbucks, my food. I would offer to pay. But there are some douchebags out there that has been like, oh, it's da-da-da-da. What do you want to put down? And I'm like,
what?
Okay, well.
What? Are you serious? You got to tell me more about these.
Yeah, it's like, so normally when I go, I like to try to make sure, which is one reason why I always go to Starbucks, because it's cheap. And if I'm hungry, I can use my points for food.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm smart about it.
Dude, that'd be something else. Hey, you want to go to Fleming's? Sure. And then to find out, hey, what you got on it? I don't know about that. That should have been disclosed before we decided to go out.
You put that on your profile. Hey, look, I know this is online dating and everyone's dating. So, why don't you, let's go on a date and let's Dutch it. I wouldn't have a problem. I wouldn't have had a problem if someone put on their dating site, I'm willing to go out I'm willing to do a Dutch dinner or a Dutch lunch, because the way it's a meet and greet. I don't, you know what I mean? That's another reason why I would do Starbucks too, is because these guys are taking tons of people out, girls out. That's kind of hard in their pocketbook. I mean, it's nice.
That was one of the main things why I liked listening to your podcast, is the dating scene, because I was married. I've been married for quite some time already. So when I first started listening to your podcast, what is the dating scene like? So it was me looking into a whole other world. So I got to hear all these different stories. And then your story with Nate automatically was like a very unique type story and relationship. So that was very cool to listen to and get to hear as well. But to hear
that's still our number one podcast.
Yeah. Oh, that'll never get old. That's like, man, that's something else. And I feel like everybody should.
It was a lot of emotions. It was a lot of emotions mixed in one podcast. It was funny. It was serious. It was very serious. It was, it had everything going for it.
It had a little bit, and you know what I sensed too is a little bit of awkward tension too.
Yes.
And it was just, it teetered that fine line of, man, this is getting awkward, but he has a way of making it not awkward. So it was fun.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was that's what I loved listening to. And I can only imagine someone dating all the time, you would go broke.
Yeah.
And deal with all kinds of different personalities that it would probably make me not want to date for a while to regroup after that.
I've always been the type where I either was broken up and met someone soon after, and it was always I met someone through work. Majority of the time it was someone through work, or I was at work and it was one of my customers. You know, that's how I've always met somebody, you know, or my son's dad. I met him because of his sister, me and his sister's best friend. So for me, there was a lot of different ways I've met people. So I've never had to do the online dating.
Yeah.
And when I did it, I like years ago, like back in 2008, I tried it. That was during Plenty of Fish was the shit, you know, which is awful now. And I tried it and I didn't like it and I got off. But then as now you got all these new things. I'm anti-pain. I'm not gonna pay. Uh, you know, and I it's just not gonna happen. So now here I am trying to learn how to meet people because I wasn't working. I wasn't going to school at the time. And when I was going to school, it was all these younger 18, 19, 20, 22, 23-year-olds. And I think we've established I don't like younger guys.
Right. Yeah. So that was going to be a problem.
Yeah. And so, so when I did work, it was a bunch of older people in the office, or the younger ones were already in relationships. So I had no way of meeting people, which is why online dating worked. But it sucked. But like it sucks. So now here I am, you know, in my 30s, trying to learn how to date, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And then all the guys my age or a couple years older than me, I'm like, you have your shit together. I don't have my shit together, and that would intimidate me. Or I'd see these nice looking buff guys, and then here I am, like, I know I'm skinny, but I'm like, my boobs and my stomach, you know. And so it was really intimidating for me, and so it was really, really hard. And then like I'd meet some guys, and they would be aggressive right off the back, and I'm like, what the hell, you know? And then it would be hard because on some dating sites I put my name as Rae, and some dating sites I'd put it as Jessie Rae, and some sites I just put it as Jessica. So let's say like I'm going out with someone and my name's Rae, and we'd be walking to a restaurant and be talking about like a story, and I'll be like, oh, and they're like, Jessica, da, 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 da. And then later on he's like, I'm a little lost. Who's Jessica? I'm like, oh,
who are you really?
Well, you know, and I'll straight up tell guys when I was on the dating, like, look, if I repeat myself, something I already told you, my bad. It's the same with you. I'm not going to hold it against you. I know we're talking to a bunch of different people. You know what I mean? And it's true. Like, do your thing. Don't get mad. Because I've had guys, like, get mad. Or all they ever wanted to do was talk on the phone. I don't want to talk on the phone. Text me.
Who's got time? Yes, I know.
Text me.
Yeah.
Auto talk to me then. I don't want to be on the phone with you. If we're in a relationship, that's completely different. Or we've been seeing each other for a couple of weeks. And the only reason I bring this up, because I think about this one dude that I had talked to before in the past, and now I remember why I stopped talking to him. He always wanted to be on the phone, and he would talk for hours and hours and hours, or he would be talking to you, then start talking to somebody else. Okay, hold on.
Oh, I hate that.
And I'm like,
oh, yes.
No, it's okay. And then he'd be like, and then when I'm talking to someone, I expect them not to be talking to anybody else. And I said, okay, I totally get that. So once we meet, I said, I just want to let you know, like, I will talk to other people right now because we just started talking. And when this is all done with, then, and we decide we like each other, we've gone on a couple of dates, you know, like 2 or 3, then I won't talk to anybody else. Got butthurt and said, well, this isn't going to work out. And I said, I guess it's not.
Wow. Wow. See, I don't understand that. I don't understand how you can get butthurt so quickly. Normally you get butthurt like after you've established some sort of relationship, and then you get butthurt, but so quickly? What is that based off of? I don't understand that.
I mean, I'm not like a catch, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm like this freaking like A+ top amazing, like big old royalty or popular person. I'm really not. I'm just,
you do have a podcast with lots of listeners. Maybe that's what it was.
Maybe. No, and you know, because sometimes I will put it out there. There are times where, you know, I would just get on online dating just to promote the podcast. Yeah. It worked. My numbers went up. It worked.
Damn.
You know? But then it got weird because I'd go out with somebody that I met through the dating site that knew about me and was listening to my podcast. And then they would be like, you know, bringing things up. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I would tell them, if you're planning on dating me, don't listen to any more podcasts. Unless you want to
Hey,
start
can
at
you,
this point on.
Nora, or how about, did you get ones that, hey, can you talk about me in your next podcast? So are you going to talk about this?
It was just an interesting date to talk about. And I was like, oh, we'll see. I even put like on the dating thing, don't just go out with me because you think you're going to be on the next episode of my podcast. But they sure did try to do that.
Wow.
Like, actually,
That's
I don't know
bold.
if I told the story or not, but I'll tell the story real quick. But beginning of in December, I was still online dating. And I told myself January 1st, I'm done with online dating. So I downloaded a couple of apps and I just started talking to a bunch of people. And then I ran them, you know, which ones I wanted numbers. So my rule was I can still date people from online, but I couldn't do it off the app anymore. So I was trying to get a bunch of numbers. And then, you know, weed them out. So this one guy I talked to, he was pretty cool, you know, and then we talked a little bit, and then we started talking some more, and then we decided to meet up. And he was a really nice guy. He was super tall, you know, good looking guy, tall, handsome, like super tall. Took me to a really nice, expensive Brazilian restaurant. Oh, it's like Texas to Brazilian.
I've heard of it. Yes. Oh, they brought some food by the station one time. Delicious.
Bomb.
Yes.
Bomb. Like, yeah. So I went before with my family, and then he had taken me, but because I was talking to my boyfriend at the time, but just as friends. And so I ended up telling, you know, my boyfriend, oh, we should go there. And like I said, once again, we were friends at that time, and we never went. And so I'm going out with this guy, and that night, my boyfriend, obviously not at the time, and one of our friends or his friends were hanging out that night, drinking at his place, and I'm sitting over here at the Texans place, and I'm enjoying my meal. And the guy's really great. He's really nice, but he's a little loud. And I'm a loud person myself, but like he's like cracking up jokes, and they weren't like very appropriate jokes, which was fine.
Oh, yes.
Which was fine. And it is more of an adult restaurant, but there were some tables with families at them. So I was like, me as a mom, you know, it's one thing we're at a big group of friends, but it's, you know, so I was just thinking, oh, can we just quiet it down? And I know people think the same way about me, but I'm just like, geez Louise. And he did say something.
Your friend, people are like, she's one to talk.
Right? Oh my God, I know. But he did stand-up comedy and stuff like that, which was cool. And then like he's invited me to his friends like dinner thing that they do like one, and I wanted to go, but I was making a bunch of tacos for a family friend of mine for her daughter's birthday, because we all know I can throw down on some food. Anyway, so afterwards, like I'm wanting to go hang out with my boyfriend, once again, not at the time, and he's gonna be getting a tattoo, and another friend of ours who was my neighbor, she was Bree, and we talked about her before. She was gonna go to the over there too as well, and so now I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to get done going out with him. And he wanted to go out again with me. Now we're back to the Texas guy,
right? The loud guy, comedian.
Yeah, the comedian. So then he's like, let's go out Wednesday. We're going to do the glow in the dark inside, you know, mini golf. We're going to have a few drinks before we go. We're going to do like a 2 p.m. type of thing. Totally cool. So, and then I went on a date with somebody else. Totally cool. That guy was awesome. I was really feeling him too. I was supposed to have a date with him during the week as well. So I was going to be like date kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And so anyways, in fact, I ended up showing up at my boyfriend's house. Oh no, the comedian guy, we ended up going out to Starbucks afterwards. Then we went to like a store, and I'm just like, okay, even though I was having fun and I was really enjoying his company, and I knew he's someone that I would totally click with, I liked my boyfriend. And
who you're just friends with.
Yes, who I was just friends with, and I liked him since before Friendsgiving. Yeah. So now I'm sitting here like, what do I do? What do I do? I don't like ghosting people. So I confirmed, you know, both guys about another day, and then the comedian guy we confirmed. We talked about the the date and all that stuff. And then I just stopped responding. And I hate ghosting. But I liked this guy, but I liked my boyfriend too. And I was in a really weird, awkward situation and I didn't know what to do. So I just ghosted the comedian.
Oh,
but I
shit.
remember also during dinner, he's like, so are you going to talk about me on my podcast? And at that moment, I'm thinking, well, I was going to, but now I'm not going to. And now
Yeah. Are you going to talk about me in your comedy shows? Oh.
And I'm sure he listened to the podcast several episodes afterwards, probably to see if I,
and got the hint. Yeah.
Yeah, and oh, she has a boyfriend now, and I'm glad and I ended up telling my boyfriend one time, I was like, hey, yeah, I went on a date that night. Then he's like, oh, you went on a date that night? I said, yeah, but think about it this way. The whole night I was thinking about you, and I left the date. I could have had the date go longer, but I left it to come back to you. And who spent the night at your house that night? It was me. So
that's a winner.
Let's not worry about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's true.
That's the story of that. Anyways, random thoughts with Rae.
And I think they're so relatable because I think that so many people have found themselves in that situation where you just keep digging yourself in deeper and deeper. Should you have pursued that relationship with the comedian or even the other guy? Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I lost you again. People just want to keep calling me. Oopsie. I lost you. I lost you, baby. Sorry, I was telling my boyfriend. I was like, I lost you, babe. And then you popped on. I don't want you to think I was calling you, babe. My bad. Let's just put that.
It's all good, sweetie.
Calling him.
As long as it's not like shithead.
Right. So I'm all like trying to. He knows. I told him I was doing a podcast. Anyways, I'm just no one ever calls or talks to me. And the moment I started to do a podcast, it's like everybody, hey.
Story of my life.
Hey,
I know.
Like, leave me alone. And then I get all irritated. So anyway. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I mean, I know
but I got some good stuff for the next podcast, though. As you were talking, you were giving me some ideas. Next podcast, we are talking about criteria. I want to bring up criteria, dating criteria. And the guys that you are dating, what made the worst ones the worst? And what made some of the good ones, what were those qualities?
Awesome. So then so add more to our little shared podcast notes, and then I can answer some of the questions so that way, like, I'm not thrown off guard and be like, oh. So
yeah.
And you know what we should do? We should try to find somebody like, that has dating questions that wants to pop on for like 2 minutes and get like dating advice.
For real. Like the invitation is out there. Do you have questions about dating advice, dating horror stories? What is the worst?
I would love to hear some dating horror stories because
I'm sure there are lots of them.
If it surpasses any of mine.
Yeah, I'm sure there are lots of them. Somebody needs to be thrown on blast because they treated you so wrong in that date. What's their first and last name? Let's talk about them.
Is that legal to do?
I don't know. They deserve it.
We might be. Hey, you know what? We might end up being on like Judge Judy for being sued for slander.
Yeah, I know. You got to take down that podcast because,
I know. But you know what? Judge Judy is the highest paid TV person.
You know what?
Stupid amount of money.
Here's the thing. She says that she tells people how it is. I love how flat out honest she is. And did you know that I was last February years old when I found out you can't call coworkers morons? It's I didn't know that. Judge Judy calls people morons, idiots. I didn't know I couldn't call a coworker a moron.
Oh, so did you get in trouble?
Kind of got in a little bit of trouble when I said, that moron. I can't say that.
So did you get like really in trouble, or did someone here be like, ooh, you're getting in trouble?
You can't be calling people morons.
Wait, so did the person like turn you in for calling them a moron?
Apparently, I don't know.
What
somebody had overheard me call somebody a moron. I didn't ask any questions. I'm like, hey, I thought that was an honest opinion. I wasn't like talking degrading toward that person. They are honestly a moron.
Well, I guess like you can tell a cop, I think you're a pig, and they can't do nothing. But if you say you're a pig, they can arrest you. Because now you're,
You have to say,
like
I think.
now you're, yeah. And I'm just like, really? That's crazy.
Of course not. Officers are lifesavers.
Yes. Yeah.
Heroes.
Well, we already talked about my phone ticket, so.
Yeah, that was.
I haven't
that was
gotten that in the mail. Fingers crossed. He's a really
yeah, that was just a warning. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he has a whole year to file that ticket. And
really?
if he doesn't file it within a year, the ticket goes bye-bye.
Good.
So I had a tinted window ticket, and the cop never filed it, and that's what they told me at the clerk office. So I had to call like every month looking for it.
Just to be safe, yeah.
The whole year.
Damn.
Yeah.
Good for you to keep calling though.
Yeah. So, but okay. Well, I guess we're good now. Huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna work on my questions, and yeah,
okay.
Next podcast's gonna be awesome.
Yes, and if you know anybody that has dating questions, maybe we can get a couple people on, and we can ask, like a dating game. Who's had the worst dating? Buzz.
There it is.
Buzz
I love it.
So.
I love it.
All right, sounds good. I hope you have an amazing day.
You too.
Okay, bye.